Think of the most aggressively polite person you know, the one who memorizes the dress code, corrects your table manners, and treats casual dinner parties like high-stakes diplomacy. We generally assume that this strict adherence to rules and manners is what keeps civilized society intact. We treat moral effort as the glue of civilization. But over 2,000 years ago, a foundational Chinese philosophical text called the Tao Te Ching laid out a completely different view of human behavior. The text states that rigid propriety and the desperate effort to be good do not prevent chaos. They are actually the starting point of disorder and the beginning of outright stupidity. By this logic, the harder someone consciously tries to enforce virtue, the closer they push everyone toward absolute chaos. To understand how society actually functions, we have to look at an entirely different definition of power. At the very top of the Taoist hierarchy is what the text calls the highest virtue. This is the peak state of existence, and it has one defining characteristic. It operates completely unnoticed. The highest virtue relies entirely on effortless action. A person in this state does the right thing without any conscious purpose, need, or exertion. They are simply moving with the current of reality. When that natural state is lost, humans invent benevolence, requiring conscious effort. When benevolence fails, we drop to righteousness, driven to prove our morality. Finally, we hit rock bottom with propriety, an obsession with strict etiquette and the lowest form of interaction. To highlight the absurdity of this state, the text offers a specific scenario. When a fiercely proper person puts their manners on display and gets no response, they bare their arms and march up to force compliance. The strenuous, conscious exertion to impose goodness is a flimsy imitation of reality. It inevitably collapses into conflict, revealing that the very act of trying is a broken operating system. If enforcing order creates chaos, we have to ask what invisible mechanism actually keeps the universe intact. The text points to a foundational concept called the One, describing it as the single, underlying anchor for all reality. According to the Tao Te Ching, the movement of the universe proceeds by contraries. Reality operates entirely backward to human ambition and logic. We see this law in the macrostructure of the world. Heaven remains pure, and earth remains firm, solely because they rely passively on this unforced foundation. If they attempted to exert active control, the text warns that heaven would tear apart and the earth would break. The survival of the cosmos depends entirely on maintaining a foundation of passive weakness. To tap into real structural power, humans have to reverse their instinct to conquer, control, and force outcomes. Applying this law of contraries to leadership means that true dignity must be firmly rooted in what is low and humble. What is lofty only finds stability in the lowness from which it rises. Ancient princes and kings understood this principle. They deliberately lowered their status, referring to themselves in public as orphans or men of small virtue, as a practical way to maintain their actual authority. Modern society pushes us in the exact opposite direction. We are encouraged to polish our public personas, striving to appear flawless, successful, and elegant as a piece of jade. But the ultimate master rejects the polished facade. The Tao Te Ching states that the wise prefer to be coarse, unbothered, and entirely ordinary, like a rough stone sitting in the dirt. This connects to a final paradox. All things under heaven spring from existence, and existence itself springs from non-existence. True potential always lies in what is empty and unformed, not what is rigid and finalized. The path to personal power is not found in striving for perfection or enforcing etiquette. You don't win by being the shiniest object in the room. You win by doing less, embracing the low ground, and tapping into the quiet strength of just being an ordinary rock.